So, I want to tell you all a little secret. It's something I don't like to talk about. I very rarely talk about it actually. It's something that is embarrassing. It shouldn't be, but when you're my age, when you were brought up in the time I was brought up in the 80s when it first started, there was a stigma attached to it, and it's a sort of a shameful secret that I don't like to talk about, but I'm going to because you're my friends and I want to share it with you. So when I was 11, I broke my elbow. I had to have an operation. So I had this operation and I was in plaster and I was off school. I think I was off school for a week or something like that. And I was due to go back to school and I was getting my school blouse on, sitting on the bed. I used to share the bedroom with my sister. And I was sitting on the bed, getting my blouse on, trying to with one arm. It wasn't easy. And my eyes were just like fixated on something. So I was just sitting and my eyes were fixed on something. And I couldn't take my eyes away. My eyes were just fixed. And I could feel my head, like I was trying to look away, but my eyes were fixed on something. I wanted to look away, I was trying to look away, but I just kept going like that. And my head, I just couldn't take my eyes off whatever it was I was looking at. And my head must have been twitching like that. And my sister, she was like, "Yeah, Kath," because I must have been, doing something that was stupid for her to have like took the mick out of me. And the next thing, she was going, "Kathy," and then she shouts, "Mum," and that was it. That was all I can remember. And I woke up in the back of an ambulance. Went to hospital, sent me home, and 2 days later the same happened again. First thing in the morning, only this time it was me waking up on the toilet floor and then in an ambulance. So when you're 11 years old and these weird things are happening, but nobody was actually saying what was wrong, you were just sort of there, you'd be all right. So it's very, very confusing. Very confusing. Didn't understand what was happening to me. Just kept waking up on the floor. Like most of the time it was off the toilet, falling off the toilet, waking up, hello. Yeah, waking up on the floor, having fallen off the toilet first thing in the morning. What's that all about? Anyway, a bit of time went on and eventually it was sort of referred to a hospital. But Mum knew. I didn't know because it wasn't talked about then. It wasn't talked about. I was born in 1975. Hiya. Hi, Jamie. So in 1975, it was a different generation, wasn't it? Things hadn't progressed then. So when something like this happens, 1945, so that will make you... I don't want to say what that's going to make you because I don't want to upset you. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, things like, yeah. I didn't want to say, Jamie, I was trying to be nice, respectful and all that. Maybe not. So yeah, in those times, anything that made you different was pushed under the carpet, put it out the way, get dirty secret, we don't understand it, so we don't want to know. Anyway, when you're 11, you don't really pay too much attention to things that have happened around you. Am I your mother? No, sorry. Well, no, I'm not. No, I'd have remembered if I'd have had another one. Anyway, yeah. So my auntie, she'd have these bouts of being unwell, but we never really knew why she was unwell, or just never told why she was poorly, but she was. And anyway, had to go to the hospital for a brain scan, for an EEG, and turned out I had epilepsy. And my mum said, "Oh, I know, 'cause I knew what it was because Joy's got it." And I wish that I would have been given the opportunity to have spoken to Joy about it, and somebody could have explained to me why these things were happening and how I would feel, because the one thing that nobody had ever explained to me was how painful it was to bite your tongue, and how it is still scarred now from me biting my tongue. Let me show you. See that there? That's scarring from when I had seizures in the past, when I was younger, when I first was diagnosed with it. Nobody actually explains that pain, and you think that people... I'm in the UK. And I'm good, thank you very much. I've been to work today, so I'm getting ready. Well, I'll be getting something to eat soon. I'm having leftover curry from last night. Yeah, so nobody explains how painful it's going to be, how it is when you bite your tongue and you don't know it. Honestly, the pain is unreal. And you think that people can see that pain, but nobody can see the pain you're in that on your tongue. Honestly, sometimes you might eat and you might bite your tongue by accident, but that is nothing. It's so painful, so painful. I mean, in the 80s, there used to be a thing going around that said, if somebody's having a fit, it was always called a fit. It was never a seizure, never convulsion, anything. It was always a fit. When somebody's having a fit, you've got to put something in their mouth to stop them biting their tongue. Okay. Anyway, of course, this turned out later on not to have been a very wise idea, because you could have broken their teeth. Because this involuntary movement, obviously, you can either, if somebody tried to put their fingers, to stop you biting your tongue, you could have really hurt their fingers, because you can imagine what you do to your tongue. You're going to do it to somebody's hand, aren't you? But they have these ideas, don't they? It's like when you had a nosebleed, the advice then was to do that, even though the blood will just run down the back of your throat, and now it's like this and spit into a bowl. But medical advice changes, doesn't it, over the decades and that sort of thing. So yeah. So then it started, didn't it? Once you had the diagnosis, then they're trying to manage it. So doctor gives you these tablets, go to see a specialist. Specialist gives you these tablets, start on these. Because you're 11 at the time, you're still growing, aren't you? Your body's still growing. So trying to get the dosage of the medication is crucial. So you'd go to your doctor and say, the tablets aren't working. and they say, have another one. Try half for one and see how you go with that. And then you'd go back to the specialist, and the specialist would say, oh, hang on a minute, that's far too much. No wonder she's tired. No wonder she's sleepy. She's having too much medication. So it was like this all the time. I was either drugged, so I couldn't concentrate at school. I was still having fits. What time is it? What about? The time here is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, depends where you live, but you'd say supper time. It's nearly supper time. Depends where you are. In the UK, there's different regions, and everybody says your meal times are different. Like breakfast is the same, but some people breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're breakfast, dinner, tea. It's the same thing. It's just a regional thing that we call it different titles. I'm looking. Who's looking? Looking at what? Are you looking at my clock? Are you looking at him? Do you not like my spooky clock? That clock, my husband bought that home from work. They were doing a house clearance somewhere, and somebody was clearing their shed out. That was in their shed. They hate it. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm telling you this story now, aren't I? Because, it is what it is. But, yeah, so then it's getting this medication right. Getting this medication sorted. So it's catch-22. You're 11, your body's still growing, you've still got this medical condition, but it's getting your medication right without making you tired and all that sort of thing. But it's just, back then there was no support. It wasn't talked about. It's very, very difficult. It's still difficult for me to talk about because it's sort of like brushed under the carpet, and people laughed, they picked on you at school because they didn't understand. I mean, we had a field trip at school and I wasn't allowed to go on it because obviously the teachers weren't trained how to deal with it. If I had a seizure when I was on a school trip, wasn't allowed to go. Work experience, I wanted to work at the vets or in a kennels with dogs. Basically, I wanted to work with dogs, and I wasn't allowed, was I? In case I had a fit or in case I got bitten. And I was like, it's like excuses. But today, I would be actively pushed to go and do the same as everybody else was doing in my year. I wouldn't be penalised against for being different. Now, it's a different time, isn't it? It's very hard to try and explain to people. It's like mental illness, isn't it? Then you were loopy. You were, you were off your rocker. You're crazy. Now you're given support. There's medication that can help you. It's weird how times have changed. How have people's ideas suddenly changed? It's for the better. It's for the better, isn't it? But even so. Anyway, that's what I've come to tell you today, and I think I'm done. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It will really help my little channel. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.